Y'all, I have a question for you, and I need you to actually think about this one before you just give me some random answer from church. And I hope you're listening and paying attention to church. That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. When was the last time life knocked you flat on your back? And I mean, really knocked you down. Not a bad or rough week. I mean, the kind of thing where you're sitting there going, Lord, I don't even know what to do right now. I have tried everything I know to try. I have prayed every prayer I know how to pray. I've called people I trust. I've done what I was supposed to do, and I'm still sitting here with nothing. When was the last time that happened to you? Now, when that happened, and I know it's happened because it's happened to all of us, did you feel blessed? I mean, did you look at that situation and think, wow, God is really showing up for me right now? Did you post about it online on social media with little hand raised emojis and God is so good? Hashtag blessed. I'm going to go ahead and guess no, because that's not what rock bottom feels like. That's not what empty feels like. That's not what worn out, wrung out, and completely done feels like. And yet, Jesus looked at exactly that person, the one with nothing left, the one at the end of their rope, the one who was grieving something real, the one who has been meek when everything in them wanted to fight back. And he said, those are my blessed ones. Now, last week in episode 21, we talked about the big picture, what all of that means. We established that Jesus' definition of blessed looks absolutely nothing like what the world has been telling us for years. And I hope that episode really rocked your world a little bit because it was supposed to. I hope it did. But today, we're going a bit deeper. Today, we're not going to talk just about the concept. We're going beatitude by beatitude, and we're going to ask the question. And I think most of us have never actually asked or been asked. Not just what does this mean, but how in the world do I actually live this out? Like in my real everyday life, on a day when nothing's going right, I'm not particularly feeling blessed, and I have to show up and be a human being. What does that actually look like? To be poor in spirit when your natural instinct is to hold it all together. We're trained that. Smile, keep going, let it roll off your back. Smile like nothing is wrong. Walk around with your head held high. When people look at you, don't let them see anything's wrong with you. Is that what you're supposed to do? What does it look like to actually mourn when everything in our world tells us to bounce back and move on? What does it look like to be meek in a world that rewards the loudest, most aggressive person in the room? And I don't mean just me talking loud because y'all know I'm a loud person. And what does it look like to be so hungry for God that nothing else satisfies when there are 1,000 other things competing for your attention every single day? Y'all, those are the questions we're digging into today. And I'm not going to give you the Sunday school answer because you didn't come here for that. You come here for the real thing. So that's what we're going to do. Welcome to episode 22. Let's go. Y'all, welcome back to Unscripted Conversations. I'm Ashley, and I am so glad you are here with me today. Like, generally, so glad and appreciate every single one of you for hitting that play button. Hey, if you're brand new, oh my goodness. Hey, girl, hey. I'm so glad you found us. You picked a really great episode to start with, and I want you to know that you're welcome. Everyone is. Pull up a chair, make yourself comfortable. We're just going to talk. And y'all, if you've been around here for a while, welcome back, y'all. I missed you. Let's get into it. All right. So, for those of you who are new, let me give you a quick rundown of where we are. We're in season 3 of Unscripted Conversations. This season, I'm calling Faith in Motion. And right now, we just started a series called Live in the Kingdom Way, where we're going through the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7, and asking what it actually looks like to live as a citizen in God's kingdom in your real everyday life, not just in theory, not just on Sunday morning, in the actual life you're living with the people in it, not the hard moments and the ordinary ones and the ones that look like nothing what you planned. Last week, episode 21, we talked about the upside down kingdom, the big picture of how Jesus completely flipped what blessed means. And y'all, if you haven't heard that one, go back and listen because it's the foundation for everything we're doing in this series. It'll mess with you in the best possible way. I hope so. I hope you get something out of it. But today is episode 22, and we're going deep in the first four Beatitudes. Matthew 5, verses 3 through 6. Poor in spirit, mourning, meekness, and hungering and thirsting for righteousness. Now, I'm going to read each one in two different translations, the Message and the NLT, because that's where I'm at right now. I love the NLT. I've studied it for years. I've been loving up on the Message probably for the past year. I don't know. I love it. The Message version really gets down to the nitty gritty and breaks it down Barney style. That's what I say all the time. And then we're going to talk about it like real people having a real conversation because that's what we do around here. Okay, so let's pray first, and then we're going to jump into it. You ready? You ready? Lord, thank you so much for today. Thank you for every single person who pressed play right now. You know exactly who they are, you know what they're carrying, and I am just so grateful that you showed up for this conversation. God, I'm asking you to do something specific today. I'm asking you to take these words that a lot of us have heard many times and kind of lost their edge. And would you make them sharp again? Would you make them land somewhere new on our heart? Would you let somebody hear something today that gets down deep into the places that they have been keeping locked up and move something around? Because I think there's somebody listening right now who really needs to hear that they're not disqualified. And the empty place they are in is not evidence that you have stepped back and left them. That the struggle doesn't mean something went wrong spiritually. I pray that they hear that today, Lord, loud and clear. We trust you with this. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's read it. First, the Message and then the NLT. And I want you to just listen for the first time. Don't overthink it or overanalyze it. We'll dig into it in a second. Matthew 5, 3, the Message. You're blessed when you're at the end of your rope. With less of you, there is more of God and his rule. Tell me that's not good. All right. Matthew 5, 3, NLT. God blesses those who are poor and realize their need for him, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Okay, at the end of your rope, with less of you, there is more God. Y'all, I want to pump the brakes for a second because I literally think we skip past this one too fast. We read it, we go, yeah, poor in spirit. I know what that means. And we keep going. But do we really know what that means? Because here is what poor in spirit is not. It's not just being humble in the way we think about humility. It's not just being the kind of person who doesn't brag about themselves. It's not just being soft spoken or gentle or easy to get along with. The word poor that Jesus uses means destitute, like completely, utterly nothing left, destitute. Not a little tight on money, not going through a little rough patch, nothing. Empty hands, nothing to bring, nothing to offer, no leverage. The poor in spirit are the people who come to God and go, I've got nothing. I don't have enough faith to fix this. I don't have enough righteousness to earn my way through this. I don't have enough strength to hold this together anymore. I have nothing, just me, and I need you. And the Message, it says it so plainly, y'all, it almost takes your breath away. With less of you, there is more of God. With less of you. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that goes against everything I was raised to believe about being a strong person. We are taught from the time we are little that you figure things out. You work hard. You don't quit. You handle your business. You do not show weakness. You hold it all together. Honestly, those are not bad things. There's nothing wrong with being strong or working hard or being capable and handling your responsibilities. But the thing that gets me is when we are so capable, so strong, so good at holding it all together, do we actually need God? Not in a going through the motions way, not in a saying the right things way. Actually need Him, desperate for Him, coming to Him with empty hands because we have nothing else. Because I think a lot of us have built a version of faith that's very neat and managed and under control. We pray, we read our Bible, we go to church, we do the right things, but we are not actually poor in spirit. We are not coming to God with nothing. We are coming to God with our plans and our backup plans and our list of things we have already tried. And we say, oh, by the way, God, here's what I think you should do about this. And Jesus says, the blessed ones are the ones who stop doing that, the ones who ran out of their own plan. I mean, think about it. You have a plan, you have a list, you've been doing it like this. It's not working. You keep doing it like this. It's not working. So, what does that tell you? You need to change your plan. The ones who finally get to a place where the only thing left was God. And instead of being a crisis, it became the door. The kingdom of heaven is theirs, present tense, right now, not when they figure it out or when they get back on their feet, right now, in the empty place. The kingdom belongs to the ones with nothing left. I said this last week, a full cup cannot be filled, an empty one can. And I want you to ask yourself right now, are you holding on to something so tight that your hands are not actually open? Is there an area of your life where you're still running on your own plan that's not working, your own strength that's running out, your own ability to manage things, even though it's still not right and working? And God is waiting for you just to come to Him empty. Because that is the person Jesus called blessed. Not the one who had it all together, the one who finally stopped pretending and putting up the front that they did. Matthew 5:4. Blessed are those who mourn. The Message. You're blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you. NLT. God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Only then. I need you to stop right there on those two words. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you. Not eventually, not after you heal or once you find the lesson in it or get to the other side of it or figure out what God's doing. Only then. Right there in the morning itself. That's when the embrace happens. Now, let me ask you something. When something hard happens, when you lose something, when something falls apart, when life does that thing where it just, that's not what I meant to do. You had a plan. That's not how it went. What do you do first? Because I think most of us, if we're being completely honest, we do one of a few things. We get busy, we try to fix it, we research solutions, we call our people and talk about it and talk it out until we feel better. We try to find that silver lining as fast as we possibly can because we remind ourselves that God works all things together for the good. And therefore, we should probably be okay by now. We post a Bible verse. We push through. And y'all, I love that verse. Romans 8:28. God works all things together for good. What we do not do, what most of us have gotten really, really, really good at avoiding, is mourning. And I want to talk about why that is for a second. Because I don't think it's just weakness. I think we have been trained out of it. We live in a culture that does not know what to do with grief. Grief makes people uncomfortable. When you go and you're at a funeral or a visitation, or you're going by a house to visit somebody that has passed away, you had a family member passed away, you walk in, it's uncomfortable. You don't know what to say. Grief doesn't have a timeline that makes sense to anybody. Grief is messy and it's inconvenient. And it definitely does not resolve neatly. And in the church, and I say this with love because I grew up in the church and I love the church. But in church, we have sometimes made grieving feel a little lacking of faith. Like you were really trusting God. You would not be this torn up about this. You would not be this torn up about it. Like the goal is to get to acceptance and peace as fast as possible. Like joy is the destination, and anything that is not joy is a detour you need to get through quickly. So we learn to rush. We package it. We find the testimony before we actually had a minute to sit there and sink in the truth. And Jesus says, stop. Blessed are those who mourn. Not blessed are those who mourn and get over it fast. Not blessed are those who found the lesson quickly. Blessed are those who mourn. Present tense, active, right now, right in the middle of it. And the Message version gives us the reason. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you. The comfort is attached to the mourning, y'all. You can't receive the embrace if you won't enter the grief. God cannot comfort something you will not admit hurts. He can't hold something for you if you won't put it down long enough for him to take it. I think about all the things I have rushed past over the years. Disappointments, I told myself were not a big deal. Losses, I minimized because other people had it worse. Versions of my life I had to let go that I never actually grieved because I was too busy trying to pivot to the next thing. And what I know now is that every single one of those I rushed past, God was there in that moment with comfort I never received. Why? Because I never stopped long enough to give it to him. God was standing right there with comfort, but I wouldn't take it. Is there something you have never actually let yourself grieve? Not something you can't think about, something you have thought about plenty, but you always had the top on it. It's tucked away in the box in a safe distance, packaged up just enough so you don't have to actually feel or carry the whole weight of it. What would it look like to just put it down? To bring it to God without the bow on it. It's not a wrapped up pretty little package with a bow. There's no lesson attached. There's no silver lining. It's just the raw, honest thing. I lost this. It hurt. I'm not okay about it. I need you. Because that's exactly the person Jesus said will be comforted. Not the person who held it all together, put it in a box, wrapped it up with a nice, neat little wrapping paper and bow, but the person who finally let themselves fall apart in the right set of arms. Blessed are the meek, Matthew 5:5. The Message version. You're blessed when you're content with just who you are, no more, no less. That's the moment you find yourselves proud owners of everything that can't be bought. That is a good one. Okay, NLT, same, Matthew 5:5. God blesses those who are humble, for they will inherit the earth. Don't you just love the two different versions? I mean, they just, yeah. Okay. Meekness. Before I say anything else, I need to address the fact that this word has been absolutely drugged through the mud. And y'all, we need to pick it up, wipe it off, give it a bath, and give it a little hug. Because when most people hear the word meek, they picture somebody who takes whatever life throws at them, never pushes back. Somebody who lets people walk all over top of them, who never speak up, never take up space. They don't advocate for themselves or anybody else. They're passive, quiet, invisible. And if that's what meekness meant, I'm failing. I would have real questions about why Jesus is calling it blessed. Because that sounds nothing like anything I want to aspire to and become. And honestly, it doesn't sound like anything at all. Anything at all that Jesus modeled either. Because Jesus was a lot of things, but passive and invisible, y'all, they are not on his list. Net. So let me tell you what meekness actually means, because this is the part that gets me so fired up. You know, I love animals, so let's go there. Okay. All right. Picture a horse, not any horse, a powerful, strong, trained horse, the kind that could absolutely wreck everything in its path if it wanted to. You know, the first thing that pops in my head, a Clydesdale. ADHD, come back over here. Light bulb, it's all shiny object. Okay. All right. So when that horse learned to respond to its rider with all of that strength and power, got surrendered to a direction bigger than itself. That is what meekness looks like. It's strength under control. It's power that's been surrendered to a purpose bigger than itself. Y'all, that's a completely different picture, isn't it? Meekness is not the absence of strength. Meekness is what happens when strength gets surrendered. When you have the power to fight back and you choose not to because you trust God with the outcome more than you trust yourself. When you have the ability to make somebody pay and you choose mercy instead. You could claw your way to the front of the line and you choose to trust that God will put you exactly where he needs you without you even have to fight for it. That is not weakness. Meekness is not weakness. Say that 5 times fast. Weakness takes more strength than anything else on the list. That is not weakness. That takes more strength than anything else on the list. And then the message says this thing that just absolutely gets me every single time I read it: content with who you are, no more, no less. Y'all, in 2026, really? Content with just who you are? Do you know how crazy that is and how crazy that sounds? We are literally living in a world that has built an entire economy around making you feel like who you are right now is not enough. You need to optimize. You need to level up. You need to build your brand, grow your platform, hustle a little harder, be better, do more. The algorithm rewards the loudest, most confident, most impressive version of you, the quiet, faithful, steady person who is just doing their thing without making a big production of it. The world does not have a lot of use for that person, but Jesus does. Blessed is the person who is content with just who they are, not because they stopped growing or because they have no goals or ambitions, but because their worth is not riding on whether they get there. Because they're not performing for the approval of people who are probably not really even paying that much attention, anyways. They already know who they are and whose they are, and that's enough. That's enough to build a lifetime. And I want to be really, really honest with you about something. I think the reason meekness is so hard for a lot of us isn't because we're arrogant, it's because we're afraid. We are afraid that if we stop fighting for our position, somebody else is going to take it. We're afraid if we stop performing, somebody's going to forget us. If we stop trying to prove ourselves, people will decide that we're not worth paying attention to. And meekness says, let them. If you have not listened to Mel Robbins' podcast, Let Them, you need to listen to it. Read the book. Y'all. Sorry. Let them. Trust God with that, because He's the one who puts people right in the place at the right time. And when He does it to you, you don't have to maintain it or defend it because nobody can take it away from you. They will inherit the whole earth, not the ones who fought the hardest for their peace, the ones who trusted God with the outcome, the ones who were content to be exactly who they are, no more, no less. I don't know where you are in your life right now, but I want to ask you, is there a place where you are literally holding on to something so tight you are white knuckling it? You are fighting for something, proving something, performing for someone's approval, and exhausting yourself in the process? What would it feel like to just let go of that? To trust God with how it turns out. Let go and let God. Stop needing the outcome to be a certain thing in order to feel okay about yourself. That is meekness. And Jesus says that person is blessed. Not the fighter, the one who finally stopped fighting and started trusting. Oh, this is so good. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I told y'all I'd get fired up. All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Ready? Here's the fourth beatitude. Matthew 5:6. The message. You're blessed when you've worked up a good appetite for God. He's the food and drink in the best meal you'll ever eat. NLT. God blesses those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be satisfied. Did you catch the difference between those two? The Message says a good appetite for God. The NLT says hunger and thirst for justice. I want to talk about both of those because I think they're coming in at the same idea from two different angles. And when you put them together, it's so much bigger than each of them standing on their own. So let's start with the Message. A good appetite for God. He's the food and drink in the best meal you'll ever eat. When was the last time you were actually hungry for God? And I don't mean going through your quiet time because it's on your checklist or doing the right thing out of habit. I mean actually hungry. Like, I need this. I cannot go without this today. This is not optional for me. This is the thing I am most hungry for. Because I think a lot of us, and my hand is raised, I am including myself in this, have let our faith drift into something more like a vitamin than a meal. We take it every day. We know it's good for us. We know we're supposed to do it, but we're not actually hungry for it. We're not sitting down at the table starving. We're just kind of maintaining. And maintenance mode is a sneaky place to be in because from the outside, everything looks fine. You're showing up, you're doing the right things, you're saying the right things. But on the inside, there's this distance between going through the motions day after day and actually being hungry for God. And most of us know the difference. We just get comfortable ignoring it. Now, the NLT says hunger and thirst for justice. And that word justice means things being right. It means the world lining up with God's character, justice and fairness and dignity and everything being exactly the way God designed it to be. So when you put those two translations together, here's what you get. Blessed are the people who are so hungry for God that they cannot settle for the way things are. The ones who look at the world and go, this is not right. This is not how it's supposed to be. I want more God of this. I want to see his kingdom come and his will be done. And I'm not okay with just accepting less than that. That is not a passive, comfortable posture. That's somebody who is generally relentlessly hungry for something more than what this world is serving up. I told you this one got personal, and I meant that. So I'm going to be real honest with you for a minute. Y'all, I've had seasons in my life where I was in full on maintenance mode with my faith. I was going through the motions, doing the things, checking the boxes, but I wasn't actually hungry. I wasn't actually longing for more God. I was just kind of coasting along on a raft, floating on the ocean of faith and calling it fine. And what gets my mind going is how easy it is not to even notice when that happens because you're still doing the right things. You're still showing up. From the outside, it all looks good. But from the inside, there's a difference. And deep down, you know it. And then I read this. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Blessed are the ones who are not satisfied. Blessed are the ones who look at the way things are in the world, in their own life, in their own walk with God, and say, this is not enough. I want more. And I just thought, when did I stop being that person? When did I go from hungry for God to just maintaining? Because here's what I know about myself. When I'm actually hungry for God, when I am in that place where I cannot get enough, I'm praying like I mean it, where I am generally longing for more of His presence in my life, everything is different. The way I treat people is different. The way I handle hard things is different. The way I see the world around me is different. But when I'm just maintaining, I'm still a Christian. I'm still trying to do all the right things. But something is just missing. There's just a piece missing. Something underneath all of it that used to be there. And somewhere along the way, I let it get quiet. And Jesus is saying that hunger, that restless, not satisfied longing for more of God and more of His goodness in the world, don't let that go. Feed it, protect it, because that's where the blessing lives, not in the maintenance, in the hunger. Okay. So, practically, in our lives, living it out. What does it actually look like to hunger and thirst for righteousness when you have got work and family and responsibilities and 100 other things competing for your attention every single day? It looks like caring about things that break God's heart, not just the things that are convenient to care about, the actual things that are wrong in the world, people being treated as less than, injustice, the broken places that everybody else has to learn to look past. A person who is hungry for righteousness cannot just scroll past that. It bothers them. It gets to them. It moves them deep inside because they want things to be right the way God wants them to be right. And I think that looks like being personally unsatisfied with a real shallow version of faith. Not walking around judging everybody else's walk with God. And that's not what this is about at all. But personally, in your own life, always wanting to go deeper, always wanting to know Him more, never arriving at a place where you go, okay, I've got this all figured out now. I'm done growing. I'm good. I'm good. And I think it looks like actually being hungry when you come to God. You're not just showing up out of habit. You're not just going through the motions because that's what you do on Sunday morning. Actually come to Him like you need Him because you do. We all do. We just forget that sometimes when life gets comfortable. But when do you remember? When everything takes a turn and nothing's going right. The promise attached to this one is that they will be satisfied. And y'all, I love that so much because the world promises satisfaction, but it never delivers. More money, more success, more stuff, more followers, more this, more that. And you get there, but guess what? You're not satisfied. You're still hungry, restless, still looking for the next thing that is finally going to be enough. But Jesus says the one who hungers for Him, for His righteousness, for His kingdom, for things to be the way He intended, those are the ones who will actually be satisfied. Not by getting everything they want, by getting more of Him. And more of Him is always enough. So I'm going to ask you again, are you hungry? Like really hungry? Or have you just drifted into maintenance mode on your comfortable float, just floating up and down and gotten real comfortable? Because Jesus didn't say, blessed are the ones who maintain their faith. He said, blessed are the ones who hunger for it. And if you're in a place right now where that hunger is gone quiet, I think this is God tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, Come back to my table. I've been waiting on you. All right, y'all, let me pull all this together and give you something real to take out of here today. We have gone through the 4 Beatitudes today, 4 declarations from Jesus about who the truly blessed ones are. And y'all, not one of them is the person the world would put in a highlight reel. The ones who come to God with nothing, blessed. The ones who are not okay and not pretending to be, blessed. The ones who have strength but are not using it to fight for their own position, blessed. The ones who are not satisfied with the shallow version of faith and a comfortable version of the world, blessed. Do you see what every single one of those people have in common? They are all in a place of need, a need for God, a need for comfort, a need for more. Not one of them has arrived. Not one of them is self sufficient or has it all figured out. And Jesus looks at every single one of them and says, those are my people. Before we close out today, I'm going to ask you one question, just one. And I want you to be honest with it. Don't just nod yes or no and move on. Which one of these 4 is God pressing in your life right now? Are you holding something so tight that you're not actually open? Are you rushing past something that you need to grieve? Are you fighting for a position God never asked you to fight for? Or have you drifted into maintenance mode when God is calling you back hungry? Whatever your answer is the one thing this week to work on. Not fix it overnight, not have it all resolved before next Sunday. Just be honest about it. Bring it to God exactly like it is, because that's the kind of person Jesus looked at and called blessed. Lord, thank you so much for today. Thank you for these 4 declarations that remind us that you are not looking for the impressive ones. You are running towards the dependent ones, the empty ones, the honest ones. God, I pray right now for everybody listening to this, for the ones that are at the very end of their rope. Would you remind them that this is exactly where the kingdom shows up? For the ones who are grieving something that they have never let themselves actually grieve, would you give them the courage to bring it to you without the bow on it and let you be the comfort you promised to be? For the ones who are exhausted from fighting for something you never asked them to fight, would you give them the freedom that comes from just letting go and trusting you? And finally, for the ones who have been in maintenance mode, Lord, stir that hunger back up. Make them restless for more of you in the best possible way. We want more of you, not the world's version of blessed. More of you. And that's enough. That's everything. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. All right, y'all, that's a wrap on episode 22. Y'all know I get fired. Ooh. I just love y'all so much for spending this time with me today. This series, I'm telling you, it's got me so fired up. And I love digging it into this with you. It is honestly one of my favorite things. All right, next week, episode 23, we're going to be moving on to the next 4 Beatitudes: the merciful, pure in heart, the peacemakers, and the persecuted. It's called Strength That Looks Like Mercy. And I have so much to say about this one, y'all. So much. Like I don't every other time, but that's a different story. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening so it shows up for you automatically. And hey, if something in today's episode got you really deep down and thinking, will you share it with somebody else? Text it to a friend, drop it in your group chat, post it to your stories. It takes about 10 seconds and it helps more people find the show. And y'all, it helps me so very much. If you've been hanging out for a while and this show has meant something to you, an honest review wherever you're listening would absolutely make my day. It helps people find us. And y'all, I am so grateful for every single one. Come find me between the episodes at simplyblesseddesigns.com. Everything lives over there. And if you want to support the show, I have free printables over at ko-fi.com. And you can even buy me a coffee, even a small cup. It kind of keeps this thing going. And y'all, it means more than you will ever know. All right. So you are loved, you are seen, and you are blessed right now, right where you are, even in the middle of whatever you are going through today. Don't you dare forget that. I'll talk to you next time, next week, same place. Thanks, y'all.